morning, good evening, whatever time of day you're watching this. Welcome back to another episode of the English Prescription. We got a good one tonight. We're going to get some juice on Clearlake. But first, let's bring in my new co-host, Mr. Andy Reid. Shane Jones. How you doing, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Man, I'm really hating this heat, dude. This heat sucks.
Yes, it's been a rough one.
But how you been doing?
Good, man. It's working like crazy. Doing a little bit of fishing, hanging out with family, all that fun stuff. So
yeah, same here, dude. A lot going on here. Be traveling a lot in the next 2 weeks, so.
Oh yeah.
Good old basketball tournament.
Oh yeah. Yep. Right on. Let's bring in our guest, Mr. Drew Boles. You guys know him as the Clearlake champion, the Western Wild Card champion. It's a mouthful, man.
Congratulations, as Post Malone would say.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Man.
Oh man. So Drew, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How long you been fishing? What got you into it? Let's get a little background story on you.
I've been fishing my whole life. Started fishing, I don't know, probably in diapers. And bass fishing, saltwater, and then bass fishing. I got more serious when I was old enough to go up to my uncle's in Eureka, and I would fish Trinity and Ruth Lake a lot in the wintertime.
We got to talk offline about Ruth. All right.
Up in the wintertime. So my uncle, he would say, well, here you go. My hands don't work. It's 4 foot of snow around the lake. He said, I guess you're not fishing. And, ever since then, it's just my mentality when I was young. Okay, this is how it is. And then just kicked off from there, and I just started fishing, walking San Pablo Reservoir, walking Lafayette Reservoir, bass fishing, and learned how to bed fish there, and just saltwater fished, and worked my way as a deckhand, and just saltwater fish, and then now I'm just putting both together and doing both at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah, you spent some time up in Alaska too, right? I mean, was that for commercial or for just pleasure?
It's my buddy Captain Steve's fishing lodge. He runs usually runs 3 boats, but he's running 2 boats this year, little 6-pack charters. It's all inclusive, You can leave home with your ID, you know what I mean, and come back with your ID. I mean, when you book with him, you from breakfast, whatever you want made is fresh. You get up an hour before launch, and the chef makes it right there. Makes your lunch every morning. You write it all down, and dinner's like a 5-course meal: ribeye, cod, fillet,
Wow.
You name it. Yeah, it's pricey, but at the same time, you can't beat it, man. He's like one of the tried and true lodges, fishing lodges up there that I think there's 12, 16 rooms. Every one has a double bed, its own bathroom, its own shower, its own TV. Every room is, so it's really, I don't know, it's a really sweet place. Every time I go up there, I just, man, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Sounds like we got to get the crew up there one year and go for a trip.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I mean, you go out for these you go out for the lean cod and stuff, and like 65% on the drop, you have to be ready. I mean, as you're dropping, all of a sudden the line just stops going down, and
wow.
And I mean, a lot of guys, that's not going to work. I mean, you got to send this rod to the moon. You're fishing 1 pound, 16-ounce lead heads, jig heads with these swim baits. I mean, and Oh man, you gotta lay into them, and you gotta just go.
Yeah, I caught out of Bodega Bay a couple of years ago. I don't know, about 20-pound ling, and dude, I was on a big charter boat, and it was a dead tire. It almost felt like I was hooked on somebody else's line on the other side, like we're just fighting each other. And I'm just
Yeah,
cranking on this thing. Finally get it up, saw color. I was like, oh crap! I was like, man, where was the fight in this fish? Like, come on, man, can't get
yeah.
that big and not give me a little
It's
bit of a fight.
it's crazy. It's a whole different ball game up there. Because I mean, everybody, you fish with your rod right here, the butt right here, and you're like this. You can't. You have to have it's so awkward. You got to have the butt of the rod right here, and you're fishing like this because the reaction time is like no other. And I mean, your wrists feel like it's going to fall off after catching a couple of these, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
that sounds like
been
fun.
doing it for years, and oh man, it's especially pull up 100 and something pound halibut. Oh, you'll be like, holy
Jeez.
smokes! Those things, they do not give up. They do not give up. But hey, if you love it, you'd be like, I'll be back. I mean,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
Ishman Rogue, he goes up there about once a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, oh yeah, there's a lot of guys that go up there.
I will definitely have to look into that. That sounds like a blast, man. I can't. I've been wanting to fish up there for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. His is, the boats. You stay at the lodge. The lodge is connected to his house. It's pretty sweet, man. It's probably the only one that's really like that. Everything else is like day use.
That's the way to go. Especially when you're traveling that far. Bring your clothes and whatever else you need. Just have everything
Yeah,
there.
I mean, yeah. All you would need is just clothes because
Yeah,
before you leave the lodge in the morning, because they hook up the van with the boat, and he makes sure you have your rain boots on, and you have your full foul weather gear on. Rain jacket and pants because washing down the deck. We ain't got time. No, I'm cold because I'm wet. It's
Mm-hmm.
constantly water. So I mean, every other place, they're gonna be like, oh, you got to bring your own. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
That's
That's
full
awesome.
service.
Heck
Oh, it
yeah,
is. It's
Yeah.
full service. Full service. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
full. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dude. And what's that guy's charter?
Captain Steve's Fishing Lodge, and it's in
Okay,
Manilachik, Alaska.
nice. Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, he actually holds the world record ling cod.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he used to come down to Sacramento to the ISE show and everything, but since COVID, I don't think he's came down since because the numbers have dropped. The
Mm-hmm.
number of people he gets from the show compared because he would go to Sacramento and then he would like go down south or like Colorado. He would go, but all the traveling and just put two and two together. Sometimes just what I mean. The
Yeah.
numbers ain't adding up of the people you're getting. So
Sure.
What's
Got to be
what's
smart.
the what's the weight on that ling he's got then? You know?
the world record.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I forget. I believe it's. I could be wrong. I believe it's 72. I could be wrong.
Jeez, Louise.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, it's up there. Yeah. He's already had 4 potentials. Um,
Really?
so yeah, very close. Very close.
82.6
Oh,
world
there you go.
record. Wait, hold on.
Very close. Very close. It's probably 82.
Uh,
It was caught by a
not sure.
kid. It's caught by a kid from like Half Moon Bay. His grandpa took him up there for a trip.
That's crazy. Said, yeah, from California, weigh 82, measure 55 inches long. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's a ling there, man.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
So you went up to Clearlake a couple of weeks ago and did a thing there.
Yeah.
How much time did you spend prior to the event? I heard rumors you've been tracking this school of fish for a while, or you know,
put my
may or may not have
GPS.
heard. Yeah.
I put my sonar GPS on them. You know, like they go out there for Shark Week and tag them.
Yeah.
No, so I wish I could have been tracking them for weeks. You know, so I fish some boat tournaments every now and then back in March, March or April, you're able to get to the backside of these tules, and you know during bed fishing time, right before the native tournament. Actually, I believe it was
Okay.
before the native tournament. Anyways, and you know I saw some, you know, 40, 60 pound bags just hanging out back there, and I said, wow. I said, I wonder what's going to happen here, you know. And so when I went back up in May, I couldn't even get back there no more, and because of work, I wasn't able to get back since March or whatever that was. And I said, well,
Okay.
this this ain't gonna work. But my whole theory was, it's summertime. After they did their stuff, they're not moving miles. There's so much grass. There's so much tule. They're gonna stay right here. They're not going too far. So the thing I did track was the Rumsey gauge. I followed the Rumsey gauge,
Okay.
and so then I just started following moon phases and fished around the moon phase and how I did it. And then I said, wow. I said, this could line up. This could line up in June, hopefully. And came around, and practice day came around on Monday. And, you know, I waited till that sunlight just enough to where I could see, because I don't like throwing the bigger baits where I can't see, especially, well, in practice I will, or fun fishing, but the tournament, I wait till I could see, because I already knew it was there, right? I mean,
Didn't want to hear that. Through the
yeah, I mean,
trees.
I saw some double digits in there, and I knew that they were there. And so when I went up in May, and I checked the area out where I was like, well, I can't get in there. Well, my other spot I can't get in because the grass is all up high, because the water had dropped a foot or two from being prior there being in March, I believe. And I said, well, what the heck? I said, let me try out here. And because I just was like, well, they're way back there. I can't get there. Closest thing I could do is get out to here. And it was just off a point. And 2 hours later, it's 34 pounds.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
All in big swim baits.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, this is crazy. So when I came after practice, I I tossed the smaller bait in there and couldn't get bit. Threw the big bait in there. I got hammered 5.5. And I said, wow, these bigger ones just don't want these smaller baits.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get nothing else on the big bait in practice for like an hour. I stayed there just to try and see like if I can get another one. Got a few smaller ones on some smaller Kitex and stuff, and then I threw the big bait again. Like fourth cast, I got hammered. I missed them. Threw it out there and missed them. Set it down. I threw the smaller bait 5 casts in a row. Never got touched. Well, let's see what happens. Picked up the big bait again, slung it out there. 6 pounder decides she's going to eat it. And I just said, wow, this is telling me something right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in practice, I had 106 inches and I had 98 inches, 92 inches. And I was just like, this spot I'm going to live and die on right here.
Yeah.
And it's either going to happen or it's not.
And he lived on that spot, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Shane saw me, you know, in the morning, you know, and
so
I stayed there all day.
I'm cruising by. I'm like, oh, there's Drew. I'll just keep going, you know, and just happened to watch over. And I see him just, you know, reel down and just this epic hook set, dude. And I'm like, holy smokes, dude. Well, it ended up being a catfish, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never caught one catfish there, like prior times of any. I mean, I caught them all over the place, but never there. I mean, I've seen them carp, you know, jumping all this and that, and it didn't ever make a run like a catfish either. That's why. And you know, okay, whatever. All you can do is keep casting.
That rod was bent.
Oh yeah, I
And
that was that was either the Phoenix rod or the Dobbins swim bait rod, but either one, I don't know. Those are just my go-to, switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth
yeah.
all day long.
Now, were those fish just loading up in that area? I mean, I'm not going to describe the area, but I
Yeah,
mean,
they were
were the
just
fish just loading up in that area? They'd be there and then they'd go and then something else would come back.
yep. I would only thing I had my graph on for was to make sure I was at the right depth. The depth
Gotcha.
was still kind of sketchy. It's about a half a foot, a foot less than what I wanted it to be, but the temperature was still good. And I said, okay, so I just turned it off. Never had the graph on more than a minute all day. And then I
Yeah.
just stayed there because they just kept loading. It didn't matter the time of the day. They were like loading every half hour, every 2 hours, come back 4 hours later, come back 6 hours later. I mean, I fished some of these spots in last summer, and same thing. I was out there till the sun was coming down. I said, "Well, I'm gonna go back there and see." Boom, stick a couple more. Just
is it more of kind of like the roadway you're sitting in, or was it you think they were hunkered down and that's when they're coming out to feed?
um, that's kind of a tricky situation because there was like there was a few angles, really few key angles there because I could sit outside there and fire at it from a few different ways and I wouldn't get bit. As soon as I would move the kayak over to here to where I could fire it perpendicular this way, or I could fire it offshore more at an angle, bringing it across, it was lights out. But if I would move out here, casting in with this angle, or if I was moving over here, casting in like this angle, I was not getting touched.
Okay.
And the water's so murky in there. I mean, you can't even see. It was 8.5, 9.5 foot. I really liked the 10 foot, but the water had been dropping, and they just stayed right there for me.
Yeah. What you want to get into your baits at all, or is that? I think we kind of know what you threw. You said it a little
Oh,
bit, but
I got it right here.
Yeah, buddy.
the 8-inch mag draft.
The 8-inch
Yeah,
Maggie.
yeah, ain't nothing to hide. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all I threw. I threw that, and I threw some other Kitex, and the 6-inch, 8-inch, but I never got any of my keeper fish. All my keeper fish came on that.
Okay.
I mean, that thing is rashed up. I mean, I went up there today and I threw another one today and I got smoked up there today. Just missed them. So they're chewing, but it is confidence and it is an angle game.
Yeah.
Throwing the bigger baits, it's about angles. And then how long do you really want to throw it? A
Now,
lot
when
Yeah.
of
you
guys pick it
throw,
up. A lot of guys pick it up, throw it, a couple casts, and then they say, "Yeah, I'm done with this." I'll spend 30, 45 minutes there and just knowing I know I can get it. I know I can get it. I know I can get it. Whether I'm gonna get it or not, I don't know. I just have that kind of thought process of,
did you throw the big glides at all, or was it all? I mean, did you
I
try
did.
them?
I I threw glides in practice, and they only came out and looked at it.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I throw those glides and I'm not getting no action, I'll pick up the soft baits,
Yeah.
and they sometimes just want to eat the soft. I don't know why.
Yeah. So it was. What is that something you think you can duplicate across the lake, or you think that was a spot deal? You really think it's more of a pattern?
Um, well, honestly, I don't know. It's gonna be kind of tricky. I would like to try it some other areas. When I was up there in February,
Mm-hmm.
when I was up there in January, cold, um, I was throwing on trash fish within a mile of my spot, and you know, 2 6s and a 7, and I didn't even bring the mag draft. I just was fishing trash fish and certain colors for certain years, and so just kind of paying attention to the color and what's really going on. But I mean, I would like to. I don't know though, because different parts of the year, the mag draft, it just has that, just so compared to the trash fish is just very so.
Subtle.
Yeah. So, but I couldn't get bit on the trash fish like I did in practice, and so I just said, well, I think they just want more action, just that more kick. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I went to a different part of the lake today, and like I said, I got hammered 3 separate times. I just not paying attention. Throwing those baits, you got one shot usually when they hit it. Those bigger ones
Yeah.
are not gonna keep coming back like the smaller ones. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Was
Take
there? Oh, you have your graph on. I was say, was there a lot of big bait fish in that area? Was that what they were keyed into in that area, or was it more?
So the how do I say it? The bait that was like in my area,
Mhm.
it there wasn't no actual like bait in my area. I saw like some bluegill in there and etc. But the hits weren't flipping, but they were. I'm assuming that they were hitch or they were shad. I don't know. I couldn't see. It was so dingy, but they were off. They were off of me about 100 yards in the
Mhm.
toolies. But when I tried and practiced targeting like other areas that had those in there, and I spent like a couple hours, I never got a follower. I never got a bite. Never
No,
got nothing.
we
So
found an area.
I left. I after spending twice during practice week where I found spots like that, and I seen them, and I just said I'm not even going to bother with it because I felt like I wasted time in practice, but it just eliminated it off of the schedule.
Yeah, 'cause I found something like that on Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. We pulled up into an area, and there was, I mean, thousands of these fish just
oh,
busting everywhere.
there
And
had to
then
been.
I went further down, and then there was another big giant section of lake that it was just you throw, you know, big baits, flutter spoon, anything you could throw at them, and the fish underneath them just they were so keyed in onto whatever they were eating right there that
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only time I pay attention to that bait, me personally, I've noticed over the last couple of years is if if I mean the way I fish it. Everybody has their own, but if the hitch aren't flipping, if the hitch aren't flipping out there, I I won't even I won't even like target that bait. Like if there's bait and I see them flipping, I say, oh okay, I know what they're doing. But if I just see the bait
that's
balls just doing whatever, and I tried
yeah.
cranking, I tried everything. I mean, I know guys that were getting crankfish down south and everything, but usually I can get them up there in the grass like that. I couldn't get them.
Yeah, because these fish were busting the surface all over the place, man.
Yeah,
There
they
was
were over
so many
20,
of
30
them.
feet of water and they were just everywhere, all around our kayaks, man, just busting water,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It
They were
was,
there was
but
bait everywhere, but I you know I don't know. I just like I said in practice, I saw the bait and I couldn't
yeah,
couldn't get anything to even move out of there, and so I just said, well, if I see this on
yeah,
tournament day, I'm not even going to pay attention, like get all joy, like oh, there's bait here. These fish are pushing up on them. There was no bait being busted. There was nothing. The only thing that was busting were the carp. And
See, he did exactly a classic, example of what I think we talked about this weeks back about the Delta, instead of just trying to find, I think Ken was on, and, instead of trying to, do your research and whatever, fish an area and learn the area, And it is exactly what Drew did. Is he learned the area. He figured out what that area was doing, and instead of going out there and my bite's not happening and move to another ramp, he stuck it out the last couple months that he was out there, and he figured it out. So hats off to you for that, man. Because
thank you.
I mean, I'll be honest. I won't speak for anyone else, but for me, I was pretty much lost at this tournament. And it's just I don't get enough time on that body of water. So
yeah, no, trust me. I've been going up there since I think my first Yakka Bass tournament was 2018, something like that, somewhere around there, and I just keep getting weeds, man, like frustrated, and then just over these last few years, just going up in the wintertime, going up in the fall, going up in the spring, I just kept cycling, just all over the lake too, though, just trying to see what's really going on with that lake, because that lake changes by every few hours too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
and just like you said, I mean, these fish, they aren't moving. I mean, they might move, but they're not like, spawning and then going, oh, you know what? I'm going to go completely south. You know what I mean? Or I'm going completely north. There's fish everywhere. There's fish everywhere, and it's just the same with the Delta. You just gotta keep fishing one area and just learning that area, and it's not like you launch out of Tracy Oasis and you're not getting bites. Well, those fish then just get up and leave and go to Discovery Bay, right? I mean, they're there.
Yeah,
you just got to figure them out.
You gotta get them to trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know. I watch a lot of old footage too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I watched like the 2007 Bassmaster Classic Elite Series. I was up there, just look at some swim baits. Everybody's throwing swim baits. So I look at the swim bait stuff going on, what they're targeting and stuff, and just trying to make that happen in other spots in that area that I was fishing. And I went up there and seeing what they were doing, and I'm like, well, let me try this, and then hey, I got to some bites, and I said, wow, this can happen. And and watching some old tactical bassin from when they used to live up there, and them doing reviews of throwing their big baits, and I just watch and I just see what they're doing and what they're targeting, and the the angle, everything's an angle,
Yeah.
everything's an angle.
Yep.
And even in my practice, I mean, a guide pulled up on me, and it was the right guy that should be guiding there, and that throws big baits only,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, there's no secret here, and then even after I won, he texted me and he said, hey, congrats, and I figured you'd be back up there after I seen what you did in front of me, but I said, yeah, I had to go back. So
Yeah.
but it's just crazy how certain spots just turn on, and are they going to hold, and I went back over there today just to see, and nobody was home, but I only spent probably 10 minutes there because I wanted to go somewhere else, and I just cruising by, and I said, well, let me just take a few casts, just darted. But I mean, I went somewhere else and got some good fish. But
so what's the mentality of because you were throwing an 8-inch mag draft. That's something I'm not going to go and just toss at these Highland reservoirs. You know what I mean? Like you like, I mean, Clear Lake's a different breed. It's definitely a largemouth lake, right? So what got you to go, well, I'm going to throw an 8-inch versus, I mean, did you try a few different sizes or?
I did.
Okay.
I did. So I usually go to my go-to Kytex 4/8 or the 5.8 or whatever that is, and I got some nice fish like that, but in my mind I said, man, if they're eating this, why wouldn't they eat a bigger bait?
Yeah.
And all it took was me 30 minutes of throwing it around, and then once I got a few bites, and I said, wow, okay,
That's all it
let's see
takes.
yeah. And so then I just kept it in my hand for like an hour or two, and then the right ones bit to show me that this is what living here, and then I said, wow, this small bait, I mean, I'm not even getting these size, and like I said, in practice, when I had 106 inches in practice,
Massive.
And it wasn't on the smaller Kitex, they were getting me the smaller fish, but I still would throw them, hoping that
How
I
are
would.
you rigging your Kitex on a fly sheet, or are you doing?
Yeah, because of the weeds, I want to keep it weedless. And I honestly, I bomb it out there, let it hit the bottom. Sometimes they don't. You got to watch the line though. A lot of times it doesn't even hit the bottom. If that line goes out and it never drops down to the slack, sometimes they're in the weed just holding it. So and sometimes you won't even get that tick. You just gotta, man, my line hasn't moved.
Yep.
And you just start winding, and all of a sudden, and they're there. But yeah, I mean, I throw all the Kitex, even the 7/8s. I throw a 7/8s, and I lost a couple of good fish on the 7/8s. But what are you gonna do? So just kind of had a various of swim baits rigged up, and that was it.
Yeah. See, it's all different mentality, man. Because I just, I throw on what I know I'm going to catch fish on up there. You know what I mean? Like you
I mean, in
definitely thought
practice,
outside the box. So
yeah, I mean, in practice, I got them on chatterbaits,
sure.
but I didn't get anything over 17.5 inches.
Yeah.
And I caught a few of them, but there was nothing of grade. Don't get me wrong, that this spot, it could have put out some nicer fish, but I couldn't get them to react. Why were they just reacting to the big mag draft compared to the chatterbaits, to the Senkos or this and that? I brought a drop shot rod, and I think I threw it for like 3 minutes, and I said, no, this ain't the business. Put this thing back. And I just started bombing away. And even when I wasn't getting bites, I was still saying, nope, pick up the 7/8, not getting bites, right back to the mag draft. Mag draft for another hour, just casting. And now I'm like scatterbrained because my bite window was 2 hours, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That was it.
That's hard to sit there on one spot too for the rest of the day. I mean,
It
granted,
is.
you had a good bag. I mean, you can't complain.
Yeah, but my whole thought process of that was, if I leave, I knew there were other guys in that area, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to catch one of these bigger fish, and then I'm going to be pissed. And I was just like, because I knew they were coming in cycles, every few hours, every half hour. I mean, I caught like fish. Some of these fish I was catching back-to-back casts. When I caught the catfish, that was my third cast of 3 fish.
Jeez.
So when I got that catfish to the kayak, I didn't have time to wait on that guy, but it kind of screwed me up. I didn't get any bites for another half hour, and I just left that little section alone. I said, well, let me let that spot hopefully reset. And so then I just started chucking it to my other angle, and I got a couple bites, just didn't get them. And I said, okay, I'm going to go back to the other angle that I left alone for the last half hour. And all of a sudden, boom, there's the 20, and I was like, okay, they just wanted to reset. But why 6 to 8 and nothing else. I mean, I stayed there all day. I stayed there till line's out.
Yeah.
And don't know. In the morning, I started with a popper because I got them like that in practice. I was throwing all kinds of stuff, and I couldn't get nothing. And then once 5:50, 5:55, there's just enough sunlight or daylight to see. And I said, well, let me start throwing this. And I think it was 5:58. I took my first picture, somewhere on there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember late in the day, it was, but line's out was at 1, scoreboard went off at like 12:30. I think I looked at it at like 12:15 because I had talked to you and you had said you were on a good bag. And so I never look at the scoreboard. I absolutely hate looking at it throughout the day. I hate it. But
I never looked at it once.
I wanted to see how James was doing. And I had 5 by that point, and I'll tell you, I just I saw your name on the top of that board, and I was like, it took everything and anything not to say a word to you about it, dude. And freaking A, man, it's absolutely awesome, dude. I mean, just the feeling of accomplishment and you coming back. You still had no clue when you came to the ramp. I'm sure a few people came up and congratulated you or whatever.
Oh yeah, when I got to the award ceremony, there an hour and a half, and Matthew Brandon, he came up, congrats, thanks, but man, I don't know until it's official. Pua came up, hey, congrats, AJ, handful of guys, and I'm just like, man, right on, thanks, man, but I don't know, Rendy, and he's like, man, you're just right above me, and I'm just like, man, I don't. Dude, they're like, oh, you looked. I never looked, man. I was just like, I was so dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
I was so dialed in on throwing this bait because I knew what was in that area. And like, I knew every cast can be an 8+. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Those ones never bit for me, unfortunately.
That's the way it should be.
But I was just so dialed in. Like, I just knew that any given moment that, yeah, and I mean, hey, all those guys, all right, yeah, thank you, man. But I don't know, like I didn't want to jinx myself, I'm just not the cocky guy either, saying, oh yeah, I'm just the quiet, humble guy that, okay, right on, thank you, this and that, and all right on, but hey, we'll see once the awards come on,
Wow.
And it settled in right when they said, all right, well, in your second place, and it's kind of cool how he was saying the fish,
Yeah.
and right when he said that first fish, and I was like, oh shoot, that's not my fish. And I was just like, wow, it's really, really happening right now.
I did it.
Yeah. And so at that moment, that's when I knew, like, oh wow, it really happened. I really
should
did
know
it.
this, but is this your first win?
Yeah.
It is. Nice, dude. Way to pull off your first one. That's huge.
That's the tournament you want your first win on for sure.
So have you started looking at travel to Texas yet?
Well, I kind of want to know what lake it is,
You're right.
Well, because I have family in Dallas and Denton. So, I mean, all I find is, I think the Bassmaster Classic is at Ray Roberts.
It'll probably be within an hour, I think, is what they're shooting for, Ray Roberts.
So Ray Roberts to Fort Worth Convention Center, where they're having that at, is an hour. And Denton is like in between there, and that's where I have family at. So I'm just trying to figure out what lake so I can start checking some stuff out. But I mean, I got a place to stay already. But then if a couple other guys are gonna go, maybe I'll hook up with them. And I don't know.
It was a lot of fun, because the only person I really knew out of the house we were in was Damien. Like Sean, I've met before, plenty of times, and same with Anthony. But it's not like it wasn't a big group of guys that we all knew each other real well, and it was a lot of fun, dude. and once everybody kind of got to know each other and opened up a little bit, it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. A little bit more secrets were given out, a little more juice here and there was given out.
Yeah, because that's always the hard part, because
Yeah.
everybody's like, but I mean,
I don't know if I'd want to know or hear about those secrets.
No.
yeah, I mean,
it was funny.
yeah.
It was a good time.
Where'd you guys go? Oklahoma?
Yeah. Lake Ten Killer.
There you
It
go.
was
Yeah.
totally worth the trip, worth the experience.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had, those of you get there's 11 that qualified do it. I mean, it's it's a blast. You're
Yeah.
gonna have fun. The classic expo is awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing those two guys walk on stage was great. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that'd be cool just to, be there just to see it, you know what I mean? Just to be like, oh,
Hmm.
instead of on TV, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
person. So, but
Right on. So what's up next for you, Drew? You got Delta coming up in a couple weeks.
yeah, Delta come up a couple weeks and see if we can't qualify for the West Coast Championship. If not, I'll still fish the Yakabass, Chris Laird, and then probably September, probably gonna go fish the one bass at Lake Mead and then Lake
Oh,
Havasu in
nice.
October. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
I enjoy fishing those and got a couple of buddies that I've met fishing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. Met a few guys, and now
Yeah.
they're, hey man, you fishing this? And like even when I fished Clearlake earlier this year for them, and I'm like, hey man, we're gonna go up and practice. I'm like, I'm not even coming up till this day. Well, if you want to come up 2 days before, man, my back seat's open for you. All right, let's go. You
Yeah.
know,
And
so
those one bass tournaments are shared weight, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the way to
yeah,
go. That
yeah,
really is the way to go.
yeah. I mean, I learned uh, some offshore casting angles and everything, fishing that because I got hooked up, partnered with a guy that just threw swim baits only,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean it's not his spot, you know what I mean? His spot's another 2 miles from there. Can't really get there from a kayak. It's really out, like, you know what I mean? Not
Sure.
from that launch, but I just said, well, we were doing this. Why can't I do this here?
Yeah.
And so I
The
mean,
shared
even
weight's
last,
cool because as a code, right? Your pro's gonna
yeah,
want to teach you something because whatever you do is gonna benefit them. It's a
yeah,
really cool
exactly.
format. Like I wanted to do
Yes,
it this year, but the Wednesday through Friday thing was just not allowing
yeah.
my work schedule.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, it's definitely tough. But I mean, honestly, I do it and I use it like, for instance, like uh, three different. Every day is different. In different
It's
pro.
like it's like
So
a
I use like
free.
a three. I use it like a 3 day guide.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I use like
it's a
a
Like
lot
3 day
guided
guide.
cheaper than
trip.
paying
Yeah.
paying 3 days for a guided trip. Exactly.
Yeah, and I just you get different techniques and different guys fish different. And I mean this year I fished all of rattlesnake. I fished redbud. And I fished all the way north in Nice, and then I fished Mid Lake on day 3, and I was just like, wow, okay, let's see the whole lake in 3 days.
Yeah.
Usually,
That,
the prior years, I don't see all that, but it's nice to see here and there, and what the water is doing and what other parts look like, and etc.
yeah.
But
Nice. So you got anybody you want to thank?
thank,
Yeah.
oh man, the
A
whole
big group.
world.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, I don't know. I just really just I don't know. thank my family for understanding my passion, you know, and I don't know.
That's a big part, having the family stand behind you. My wife might get
Yeah.
mad every once in a while I'm going fishing too much, but she still knows that's what we like to do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it works out, and so yeah, nothing too much. Not too much. We'll see what We'll see what happens. You know, some somebody was asking me about, do they ever wrap kayaks? You know, like kayak wraps.
They
And I
do.
said, yeah. I said, yeah, they do, man. I said, it'd be nice, but they're pricey.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. But this guy said, well, come talk to me. We're gonna talk. You know what I mean? Might sponsor you. So we'll
Nice.
see.
Hey,
We'll see.
get your foot in the door, you know, just.
Yeah. Yeah. He approached me. So, you know, it's like, you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Not gonna say any names of tackle shops or nothing until it
I got
actually
you.
happens. So, but
May-
if it happens, that'd be cool. But you know, he hit me up, and I'm like, oh well, you know, I ain't got the money for that. But you know, oh, I do.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
See what happens. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
just
Yeah,
you know, as long as it works out for him and it works out for you, and it's, you know,
yeah.
it
Like I
fits, you
said,
know, just,
yeah. I
and it's
said,
something
man, you know, I know.
you're definitely
Yeah.
worth, you know,
Oh
talking
yeah.
about or whatever,
Yeah, like I
you
said,
know.
it's like, oh, yeah, they do wrap them, but you know, I know a few guys that have them, but you know, they do it themselves, you know, and
Yeah.
but we'll see.
I
But
get
yeah, I
nervous.
mean,
I get
oh, go
nervous
ahead.
with the wrap, man. It's freaking launch it on a dock and it start scratching it and peeling it, man.
Just get a highlighter, fill it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Right on, guys.
but
Well,
yeah,
Drew, I appreciate it, bud. Thanks for jumping on tonight.
Yeah,
yeah, no problem.
congratulations, man. Can't wait to
Congrats.
see you go to Texas, dude.
Right
We'll
on. Yep,
see. Probably see you in the near future somewhere, whether it be
yep,
Clear Lake or the Delta. But good
yeah.
luck. Hopefully, I know the guys probably got their fingers crossed that you don't get qualified for the West Coast, but I'm hoping you do, man.
Oh man, you
So,
know,
No,
it'd be cool. It'd be cool
let's
to get up there and fish it. I mean, like I said, even if I don't qualify for the West Coast Championship, I mean, I'm still gonna fish the Chris Laird. So
yeah,
I don't know.
just just sit on your spot all day Friday, keep the guys off of it, right?
You know, that's funny.
Little
You know,
defense.
yeah. You know, even Bill told me that. He's like, Drew, just go up there and sit on. I said, no, I'm not. Nobody's fishing my spot like me. So you know, and I
Exactly.
watch all these other guys come and fish it different. You know, and even in practice, I came back and there were two boats there, and I said, well, I'm just gonna wait here. I'm just gonna just fiddle around here. And they came cruising by and said, "Can we go past you?" Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, and they're like, "There's nothing happening over here." I said, "Oh yeah, they're there, man. You know." And they're like, "Oh, we can't get them to go." And they weren't fishing like I were, so
Yeah.
I went right back where they were, and just went right to the angle, and all of a sudden, a couple of keepers within that next 20, 30 minutes, and I said, "Yep, that's all it was."
We're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right on, guys. Well, we'll catch
right
you
on.
next week. We've got Anthony Garcia. He's going to talk about something he's going to do next year. It's pretty exciting. So
Cool.
we'll have him on the show next week. And guys, don't forget, go stop by Headwaters, check out the shop, check out the website. Um, Jay has still got his Hooked 44 discount, 10% off on the website going. Take advantage of that if you want to. Other than that, guys, we appreciate it. I thank you for the support, and we'll catch you all next week.